At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. Before I forget, go and follow your boy on Instagram. Got a lot of stuff going up on Instagram. I'm going to start putting a few vids on IGTV, so make sure you subscribe to that channel. Also, if you have time, go down, hit the link below, and subscribe to the Twitter page. Now, for you guys that like to go just below surface level, I would advise you to subscribe to the Patreon page. Now we're getting ready to dive into a book called The Resurrection. Now, of all the books I've read, The Resurrection is the only book that I picked up and read it straight through, one shot, one kill. So we're getting ready to break that book down to nuts and bolts, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be some material that's gonna be beneficial to you guys. I've had lots going on here lately. One thing to include a move. That's why I haven't made too many videos. But everything's going pretty good. Got a new spot. You know, blessings on blessings on blessings, and life is good. It's coming along pretty good. So you hear me refer to information in several books, and one of these books is the Bible, right? Now, one of the benefits of being religion free is having the ability to take, religious books such as the Bible, the Quran, and several others, and feast from these books a la carte. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I can choose from these books things that resonate from me, and disregard things that don't. Now, there are several things in the Bible that just resonate with the source that's already in me. Whether I believe these stories actually happen or not. And then on the other side, there are some things that it just doesn't make sense to me. I prayed and meditated on it for years, and it just doesn't make sense to me. So I just don't accept it. But then there's a few things that I'm on the fence about. And one of those things is in Romans 8:28, where it states that all things work for good. Now I've been thinking about this verse, for pretty much my entire life. And I asked myself, do all things really work for the good? Instantly my mind goes to worst case scenarios. I'm thinking tsunamis. I'm thinking world hunger. I'm thinking war. And I asked myself, all things? So today, men, I want to ask the question, do all things really work for the good? Let's talk about it. So several weeks ago, I'm en route back to the U.S., right? And about 5 or 6 hours out, I get a text from someone telling me that a person that's very close to me had passed out for several hours and was being admitted into ICU. Now, as soon as I touched down at the airport, I didn't even go home. I went straight back to Longview, Texas, straight to the hospital. And I'll admit, when I first saw this person, it disturbed me. It got to the point where I had to mentally prepare for this person no longer being here. You know what I mean? It just didn't look good to me. So I'm sitting in the waiting room at one point in time, and I'm just thinking about all the ways this person has just blessed people, always assisting people, always giving. And I'm thinking to myself, I said, as many people as this woman has blessed in her life, there should be a line from her door out to the parking lot. You know what I mean? But it was nothing there pretty much but family members and a few, friends that came through every once in a while. And I just thought about that. I said, that's interesting. Long story short, some days passed, some weeks passed. And guys, I'll tell you, man, it was absolutely amazing to see this person recover. It was so unreal that even the doctor said that he wanted to perform a case study on her because he'd never seen anything like that. So a few days ago, I'm back in my hometown and I stopped by to visit her and took her something to eat. And I'm just looking at her, right? And she's finally up walking around. She was glowing. She's looking good. And I said to myself, she looks 10 times better than she did before she went to the hospital. And I said, interesting. And I thought about it, guys. I said, you know what? What I once saw as, a tragic situation, I said, I now see the good in it. Because see, what had happened is that this woman was given so much of herself for so many years, it just took a toll on her. But once she got in a position where she was down and out, it put her in a position to see, who was really in her circle. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody will ride with you when you're on top. When she was baking the cakes for everybody and doing all this stuff and offering all she had, everybody was knocking on the door every day. But as soon as she needed something, only a small percentage of those people came around. And I thought about the book of Job. When Job went through his illness, his boys fell short. His wife eventually fell short. And everybody just got weeded out. But at the end, Job came back on top and God blessed him tenfold is what it said. And I said, you know what? A lot of situations that we look at as bad, we have to start seeing the good in it. But because, everybody's going to ride with us when things are good. When you're in the VIP, you're popping bottles. When you're in the new car, you're turning blocks. Everybody's going to be there. But let that car get repoed. Let you lose your source of income. And you're going to really see the ones that's rocking with you. So, guys, it's definitely good in that situation. And if nothing else, just remember that everybody in your corner is not really in your corner. Sometimes you got to get those squares out of your circle. And circumstances will help you do that. Let's talk loss of employment. Now, as the economy begins to flatten out, I'm sure, without even watching, that CNN and Fox and everybody else is telling you to prepare for fire and brimstone. The economy is crashing. All companies are closing, this and that, But I have my take on loss of jobs and layoffs and all that stuff, right? Trust me, I've been through enough. I can think back to, I guess I was around 18 or 19 years old. I wanted to get into the adult employment world, right? And I got hired on as a temp at a place called Norris Cylinder. Again, I was about 18, 19 years old. And I remember these people told me, hey, you know what? You work for so many weeks and we're going to put you on full time. And I'm working next shoulder to shoulder with grown men. and I'm feeling good about myself. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, I created this world where, you know what, I was an adult and I was doing adult things. You know what I mean? But after several weeks, they walked in one day and said, you know what? Here's your last check. Today's your last day, and that's it. So I leave work that day and I get in my car and I'm driving home. And what's weird, I get a phone call. I get a phone call from a place called Mansfield Plumbing in Kilgore, Texas, that paid more, had a better schedule, better benefits, and all that stuff. So I ended up getting on. I mean, they called the exact same day. So I ended up working for Mansfield Plumbing for a while. Now, as I worked for Mansfield Plumbing, again, my mind is always, trying to grow, always trying to expand, right? So I remember I just wanted a better life, and I saw the military being a way to that better life, right? So I was looking to the Army and all that stuff, going to see the recruiters, and during that time I missed so many days, and I remember my supervisor came to me and said, "Hey, you know what? If you miss one more day, we're gonna have to let you go." You know what I'm saying? And I remember my recruiter called and said, "Hey, you know what? We got your appointment at the MEPS to go take your physical, your drug test, and all that stuff, and you'll be ready to go." And I had to make a decision, like, am I going to make this move, or am I going to, live in fear and stay where I am? So I ended up going to the MEPS, joining the Army, and my supervisor called me that evening and said, "Hey, you know what? This was your last day." But again, that was a move I had to make. So during this time, I'm learning about layoffs. I'm getting a certain vibe about it. Now, some years later, I was working for Halliburton. Everybody's familiar with Halliburton, oil and gas. I was working in the business development office in Tyler, Texas. Everything was going good, and I remember one day, some guy from corporate came down. I don't know what his position was. Called me in his office and said, "Hey, you know what? We're having to let so many people go. This, that, and the other." And for some reason, it felt different. In my mind, I said, "You know what? I've been here before." I couldn't really put a finger on it, but I said, I felt this energy before. So what did I do? Instead of going there, pack my bags and walk out all, storm out all pissed off or whatever, I went around and I shook everybody's hand. I said, "Man, it's been a blast working with you." All the ladies, I gave them hugs. And the whole time I'm doing this, everybody's looking at me like, what's this dude's problem? Like, is he snapping, or what's going on? And it was just that I understood something at that point in time. Now I ended up leaving that job, and doors opened quickly for me to start my own business. I opened up Straight Path Trucking, and I believe that was one of the first business I'd ever opened, and it did very well. But this is the thing about the loss of a job. This is the thing I think a lot of people don't understand, and it took me a while to understand. See, whether you believe it or not, whether you understand it's taking place or not, you are always manifesting something. In other words, you're always creating a world outside of the world that you're currently living in, right? And I thought about it. I said, each time I got these certain jobs, in my mind, I was already, ready to level up. You know what I mean? I'm ready to expand. I'm ready to grow. So I created that world around me. But what people don't understand is that pressure bursts pipes. In other words, you create this world around you for so long, and at some point in time, the universe is saying, "All right, we've created this world for you." And it gets to the point where you live in fear. You don't want to leave that position or leave that job, and the universe pretty much has to shove you out just to let you know, hey, it's time. In other words, you can't create this world around you and expect things to remain the same. You have to be moving. So you have to look at that bad situation as something good. Fast forward even to now, the company that I work for, love my job, have a blast doing what I do. But at some point in time, with the world that I'm creating in my mind, me working in corporate America is not going to work anymore. It's not going to fit. It's not going to fit in the world that I created. You know what I'm saying? But the difference between back then and now Because like I said, I've learned so much each time. The difference between back then and now is I live my life with my parachute on. You know, when I feel that my time is coming to an end, that I can no longer grow in a situation that my world has been manifested, I'm jumping without question. The universe no longer has to force me to move. I'm waiting on it because I know how it works now. You know what I'm saying? So I said all that to say this. Yeah, there are going to be a lot of layoffs, and job losses when the economy does what it does. It's nothing new. But you have to understand what's really taking place. What's really going on in your world is you're expanding. Your manifestations, your thoughts, that they've come into fruition. It's time for you to jump. So don't look at it as a bad situation. You have to understand that what seems to be a bad thing is actually a good thing. So in 2018, YouTube once again went through this mass demonetization, right? And my channel wasn't immune to it. I made a video about my top 5 books, and YouTube came through and said this is not suitable for most viewers. I made a video, 3 Keys to Greatness. YouTube came back. This information is not suitable for viewers. And then, my last video I made talking about intuition. Again, YouTube had the same response. I remember at some point in time, I got pissed off about it. Because I would look around the world of YouTube and I see people making content, talking about certain things that were kind of sketchy, using certain language, and their videos were monetized, had advertising. And it pissed me off briefly. But then I thought about something that my mentor, something that, the author of Outwitting the Devil said, and it was a quote. He said, "Until you have formed the habit of looking for the good instead of the bad, you will neither be successful nor happy." And I thought about that. And I thought about all the ways that I've expanded since that demonetization on my page, right? I look at things I've done over the past. I've done some freelance writing for online magazines. I've written 1 or 2 articles for newspapers. I've done everything. In other words, I just stopped and took a look at the things that took place since that, and I said I've expanded because of that. I've opened up several other streams of income because of that. And I said, you know what? There definitely was some good in that situation. Now, of course, I want to get my channel back monetized. I don't know if that's gonna mean me having to start a whole new channel or whatever. That'll happen in time if that's what needs to happen. But I thought about something, guys. The reason I don't really jump on that road so quick is because of something I know, and that something is the true definition of currency. So when you think currency, you automatically think U.S. dollar, the yen, the peso. You think currency, you think physical paper. But currency, guys, simply is energy. And that currency energy works hand in hand with karma. In other words, I consider to make videos all day. If in my heart and my mind, if I'm trying to help young men, and that's what I'm putting out, yes, YouTube may say, you know what, we don't think that this is suitable. But if that's the energy I'm putting out, by law, it has to come back to me. It's not even optional. Now, the thing that people don't really get is that energy may not come back to you directly from the source you put it in. I could easily say, since my channel has been demonetized, that the energies come back to me in different forms, different fashion, through different channels in my life. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I really, and that's a completely different video. I'm not going to go down that conversation right now, but that's something I want you guys to know. Currency is not the dollar bill. Currency is the energy you put out there, and it has to come back. But again, I looked at that bad situation, and I said, you know what? There is some good in it. The money that'll return to me due to the streams that I've opened up will by far pass the money that I would have gotten from YouTube, and I'm grateful for that. Favor. Do all things really work for the good? Let's take favor first. See, most people think that favor is something that the masses want, but only a select few can receive, right? See, I see it the exact opposite. When I think favor, I see favor as something that everybody gets, but the masses tend to reject it. You know what I'm saying? Now, do all things work for the good? I'll say this. I can't think of any situation in my life that hasn't caused me to elevate or caused me to learn something. You know what I'm saying? I've been down and out and without and been in a bad situation. And I learned that most people in my circle didn't belong there. You know what I'm saying? I've lost jobs. And what I learned from that is that the world that I created was expanding, and it was just the universe giving me that shove, saying, "Hey, you know what? It's time for you to go." You know what I'm saying? And I've learned that it's important to follow your passions. It's important to do what you love. It's important to do what you would do for free, because once that stream of income that comes from what you love quits, you still have to have that certain burn in your chest to continue doing it. And what I've taken from that, guys, is that what God puts in place, no man can take it away. So, do I believe that all things work for the good? Yes, but only for those that believe. It's your boy Soul Immortal, and I'm out.